Happy Saturday. I was just like you. I went to patient care school. And while I was in patient care school, I found myself listening to a lot of entrepreneurs and business owners. I was in rooms with people outside of the healthcare industry. So when I finished my DMP degree, I actually thought I was going to leave healthcare. But during that 1 year sabbatical, I found myself, uh, actually before the sabbatical, kind of like during the pandemic, I found myself in a room with a lot of NP entrepreneurs. And so I'm trying to get my graduate from DMP school, transition to being a working NP, settle my life. So it took a few years, and I'm spending all this time in that room with all those NP entrepreneurs. So I entered that room because I wanted to just create a business taking care of patients and solving their problems. But after being in that room with those NP entrepreneurs for a while, I realized that they had problems. And despite all the programs, the courses, the conferences, the advisors, the mentorship, the books, the movies, the videos, you name it, year after year, their problems persisted. And so then I just said, well, why don't I help them with their problems? And that's what we're doing. Welcome. My name is Dr. Kimberly Madison. I'm a doctorally prepared nurse practitioner, and I specialize in dermatology education, nursing, and research with an emphasis on skin of color, business acumen, and digital fluency. And I'm here to help all my NP entrepreneur friends, right? Time and capital are limited. So I can tell you to go use YouTube, go use Canva, go do all these things. But you going to those platforms to complete a task gets delayed because you have to figure out the platform. Should you spend this money? What's it going to be on your return on your investment? What about this other one? Is this one better? And so in the process of all that decision fatigue, all those decisions that have to be made, a lot of times we end up not executing. I'm sure you're just like me. You have a long list of to-do things, and they're not getting crossed off. They're just getting longer. And so right now, I'm in the middle of an 8-week intensive business coaching program with Jasmine Star, and I'm working on my biggest launch ever in dermatology. And instead of telling you, like everyone else, to go do this, go check this out, go buy that, I'm just creating a community that's going to help you right where you are with limited time, limited capital, and little to no team. I understand the pain because I live it. And by listening to you all over the last few years, hearing your pain points, hearing your passion for dermatology, I've decided that at this phase of my career, I really want to devote my time to helping you. You have a full life, a full-time job, and you're trying to build your business on the side. And it's hard, right? You're doing it with limited time and limited capital. So let's put systems in place that work right where you are. Every week for the last year, I come on YouTube and I give you a video answering your questions. It started off as me sharing my journey, but now I answer your questions, just like this title. We're going to talk about 10 repeatable revenue streams that every aesthetic and derm NP should know. It's the title of my new PDF. I was in the Facebook page just like you. We have the same questions every single day. And someone asked this question, and I decided to create a PDF to help you all. So we'll go over some of those ideas today. If you're here, please don't be shy. Oh, if you were here last week, I had batch content night. I filmed for 3 hours. Only one of those videos saved. The second one in the series of the 3, that's the one that you saw last Sunday. So in the course of me being on YouTube, it took me a long time to find a day and time where I could be consistent. And I still don't have a day and time of consistency for recording, but what I've done to make it easier for you to know when a new video is coming is I always upload it on Sunday. It appears at 12:15 midnight, but a special treat, if you're subscribed, you'll be notified when I happen to pop up and go and record like I am right now. I don't know if I'll do 2 episodes today or not. I'm taking advantage of some private time, so we'll see how long I have. But yeah, so if you're new here, I release new videos for you every week on YouTube, a new article on the Mahogany Dermatology blog, and we have the DMV Dermatology NPPA group and our Derm NPs and PAs of Atlanta. Those are networking groups to give you that community that you need, whether you're trying to get into derm or you're trying to have a successful practice. We're here to support you in and outside of clinical practice. So this is an ongoing conversation. We're going to get into our topic, but we always start with our scripture and our devotional, because I believe if you're in the business of taking care of other people, you have to be in the business of taking care of yourself. And so I'm going to flip the script a little bit this week. We'll do our devotional. We'll talk about our main topic. And then at the end, we'll get into health and wellness updates and then our general announcements. So I have a little devotional, then we'll do a scripture, and then we'll jump into how the coaching is going. Okay, so this is from the Bible app, the Holy Bible app. It's a free app. Like Paul, we can boast about how weak we are so that way God gets the credit for every great thing that happens to us. Our situations might not change, but our cry often changes from God. Please remove this suffering to God. When I suffer, show me how you are using this for your glory and my good. So, whatever you're facing, know that God is near. He sees you, He loves you. Take some time today and ask God to show you how He is empowering you. Draw near to Him and let Him strengthen you. This is our prayer. God, thank you for giving me yourself. Thank you for empowering me to face whatever comes my way. Help me to remember that even when I'm weak, you are still strong, and you can take the hardest situations and turn it around for your glory and my good. So please help me to glorify you with all that I am. Let my weakness become windows that your glory shines through. In Jesus' name, amen. I always say you don't have to believe what I believe, but that's what I believe and that's what I share. And I encourage you to believe in something bigger than yourself. And so let's do a quick lipstick check. And then we'll jump into how the coaching is going. So if you don't know, I'm in week 2 of my biggest launch ever. That's the name of an 8-week intensive coaching program with Jasmine Starr. She had a 16-year career as a wedding photographer. She dropped out of UCLA law school. And when she dropped out, her husband said, "What are you going to do now?" And she said, "Oh, I think I want to be a photographer." She didn't have a camera. She's taught herself along the way. And then she started getting a lot of inquiries on how she was booking clients, how she became known as a world-renowned wedding photographer. And so she kept getting all these questions, how she was booking clients through email. And so over and over again, she's answering the same question. She created a free PDF, or no, her PDF was $19.99. And it was just templates on the exact emails that she uses. And in the first year, she made $100,000 from that. And then she shifted her focus to helping other business owners. So right now, her focus is really helping people who make under 100,000. But she feels called to move to helping people who are making that transition to 7- and 8-figure businesses. And so with this particular coaching program, kind of like what I am trying to do for you guys, instead of saying, go do all these things that aren't really possible, she's created a framework to help us be those entrepreneurs who can then be her high ticket offer, which is 7 to 8-figure business owners. So I want to break down what we've done so far. So we have a book, and some of this, I hope, because I already filmed this, some of it I don't remember if I talked to you about it in the video that you saw, but I want to grab the book for you. So remember the coaching so before the coaching program, she's been talking about it on her YouTube video. Then she had a free masterclass. At the end of the masterclass, she pitched the offer to be in this biggest launch ever, which she had been hinting about on her YouTube channel. You had like a week to purchase, and if you purchase within a certain time period, she sent you this book. Okay, so this is just a spiral hard copy book. You have some color here, very simple text, and it's 50 pages. And this is our assignments from week to week, okay? And this was free. And so in that, we have a workbook that we follow, and that covers the 8 weeks. It's really 10 weeks. We get 2 weeks of like catch-up time. And then we'll have another 10 weeks of access to the community when it's over. So before the first week, we had to go, so we have a community, and we had to go in there and do our introductions. So you do your picture. You can talk about what your offer is. So right before this, I had an idea that I wanted to do. And then I said, I'm doing this program because I want someone to say, hey, pick and do this and focus on this one thing. And even just signing up for it, I took 2 consultation calls. And when I got up those calls, it was just like, that's what you do. That's what you've been doing. I've been taking these calls for over a year. And I don't charge for them. And I always think about that. But you know what? It's been rich data for me. It's been so helpful for me to know what your problems are, what your experiences are, what your needs are. That's what we tell you to do if you're going to come up with a business, is find someone's pain points. That's what I told you for those of you trying to get your first job in dermatology. Find their pain point. Obsess over that pain point, solve their problem. The most successful businesses identify a problem that they can solve to make someone's life easier. That's what I'm doing for my NP friends, right? And so right before the program started, I nailed it down. It's like, this is what I'm going to do. So even just making that decision was super helpful. And so you had to go into your introduction and talk about your offer. Now, what's really nice is even if you don't have an offer, you can still be in the community. And so, like I said, she's paid so much attention to detail. So in addition to, we have modules, which I showed you on another video, I think. So we have modules, and the intro was kind of like what to expect coming up, how to navigate the website, and then the offer. So then there's these other modules called the Offer Lab. So you can go to the Offer Lab, and we talk about 4 different ways that you can make money, which I've included in my new PDF for you all, which are 10 repeatable revenue streams that every aesthetic and derm NP should know. So 4 of these offers are in this book. They are ebooks, courses, memberships, and coaching. And so she focuses on that. Of course, there are many more ways you can make money, but these are the ways that she focuses on it. And what I think is brilliant, just like the entrepreneur, there are a million things you can pick. Which email, which CRM, which social media platform, which agency, which business, which building, which specialty, which EMR. Like there's a lot of decisions to make. You can go through some decision fatigue having to make them, making sure you're making the right decision if you're spending the right amount of money. Or you can just simplify it and say, look, yeah, there's 20 other options, but here's one. This is one we use. This is one we like. This is one you're experiencing. You can just pick this one. And so that's what I love about this program. It just eliminates a lot of those barriers to making a decision and executing so your business can grow. And so we go in the Offer Lab. She describes each one. She's broken down how to carry those out. And over the course of the 8 weeks, we get into how to do each of them step by step. No guesswork. And so I've already done one, which is the PDF. And so you can send me your email and I'll send you the free PDF guide. I'm working on a master class where I talk to you about different ways that you can make money. And so we'll have a wait list going for that now. But in the meantime, I'm happy to send you the PDF. That's available for all of you. And then we had to sign up for accountability groups. And so I love that idea because, entrepreneurship is so lonely and a lot of people you can have people in your life who don't want to talk about business and all you're thinking about is business. And then you have ideas that you want to bounce off someone else. And it can be really nice to just have someone who's also going to hold you accountable. Make sure you work on your business at least once a day, once a week, whatever the case may be. I know when I hired my executive assistant to be the producer for the podcast, she had brought, pretty early on, she had brought an idea to me, and immediately I was like, you know what? I would have never have thought of that because my mind was focused on so many pieces. And really to be able to do something really well, you have to focus on fewer things. And so that's when I knew immediately the value of having help. Is for things to grow. And since she's been with us, they have grown quite quickly. Oh, is there a little delay here? That's what I was experiencing last week too. Maybe I have too many tabs open. Let's see. I do have a lot of tabs open. 1 second. Okay. Hopefully that makes a difference. Okay, thanks for your patience. Okay, so that's what we did before the class started. So the accountability groups. So everyone had to go fill out their information in a spreadsheet, and it was like your name, your offer, the time zone that you're in, and your track. So you can go fast or you can go slow. And so after you see who's in the group, then you can email them and set up an accountability group. As I'm talking to you, I have 2 accountability partners. 3. One's my mom. So now we meet on Fridays at 5 a.m. Central. We've done that twice now. She has her thing that she's working on, and I work on my things. That's been super helpful. And then one of the ladies in the group, she's a paralegal named Jackie. She is on the internet. She's been in practice or business for 5 years now. And we had our first meeting yesterday, and it was so helpful, so refreshing, and really excited to work with her and to be able to work with people in other industries. I love doing that. I love going to, say, a group of people who work at Toyota, seeing how they do things, how they operate, and saying, can I do that in derm? That's my little tip, as opposed, because it's clear in medicine, we have things that can definitely be improved, right? We have really bad outcomes. We spend a lot of money. So there's obvious that there's room for improvement there. And some other industries have figured certain things out that we're still struggling with. And so I love to borrow ideas from other rooms. It's recommendations, even when you get a mentor. to have mentors in other specialties for that reason as well. So I meet with my mom on Fridays at 5 a.m. and then me and Jackie meet at 10. And then there's another NP in the group actually. And so our time didn't work out exactly, but she really wants to kind of work together. So kind of bounce ideas off of each other. And she's already has a beautiful website. I loved it from the very beginning that I opened it, and she's provided really valuable feedback for me. Actually, she gave me some really good feedback because I was on the fence. Even though I had said, okay, this is my offer, I was still struggling a little bit with my audience, and she gave some feedback that was like, okay, you just got to make a decision here. And so I made one. And so I appreciate her help. And so I'm looking forward to working with her. There's actually quite a few people in healthcare space, and even there's an esthetician, and there's someone who's doing makeup. So like that kind of like the beauty industry. So yeah, it's a good collection of people who, photographers, obviously, Jasmine had attracted a lot of photographers. And there's a really wonderful collection of people. So it looks like there's over 200 people from what I can tell. And yeah, it's going great. You can tell everybody's at different paces and is coming in with different levels of experience, but it's been such a supportive community, really helpful feedback, and it's a wonderful experience. I'm having so much fun, even creating that PDF for you guys. I just was just experiencing pure joy to know that I'm doing something I absolutely love, and that I know it's going to help you all because I'm answering your questions. So like I said, there was a question somebody had, and there were a lot of comments. It was probably like 20 or 30 comments, and I thought it was going to be people giving ideas, but everyone was just like following. They all want to know the same thing. And that's my specialty, is helping you identify how to leverage your expertise outside of patient care. There's so many resources out here, patient care school, and communities, organizations, programs that are helping you address patient care. But it's only one sliver of what it means to start, optimize, and grow a successful practice. And so that's what I'm here to do. So accountability groups are going up. In the first week, we met with Jasmine on Tuesday at 11 a.m. Central, and she taught us about the four offers and going through the courses. And then this week we had 2 classes, and this week we focused on our master class. And you don't have to do all of them if you don't want to. And so you have 2 options. You can do it as we go along. So if this week we talk about master class during our class, then you can work on that. And this 3rd week coming up, we have like catch-up time. So that's what I'm working on. Or you can stop, go figure out some things, and then come back when you're ready with your offer, and then go through the program on your own pace. Or you can watch all of this, wait till it's over, and then work on it. They don't recommend that one. They really want to give you that sense of urgency. She said that when it comes to these coaching programs, only 10% of people usually complete them. But in her program, she has a 48% success rate. And this is the framework that she's teaching us, is the framework I'm going to share with you guys. That's why I love it. And they've been really good about analyzing their data and analytics. And she even has it within the community, because she does this program. So she does a few offers, right? We talk about offers all the time, your different tiers that you can have. So maybe your entry is a PDF, right? Then you might do a course, coaching, membership, right? And each of those will come with a different price point. And the more people require your time, the higher that price point goes. So she has a community called Social Curator, and that's to help you with like marketing, social media. And in that, she has an AI tool that solely helps you with social media captions and sales copy. I've been using that, and I have seen a significant increase in my number of people watching my videos and following me. So I'm going to say that it works. I used to tell you to avoid social media burnout. You take your video and you put it on every platform, use the same caption. But because of Gary Vee, who's a friend of Jasmine, has used his coaching too. He's big into social media, serial entrepreneur, and he says you got to tweak the caption for each platform, because on each platform, one, you want to incentivize people to follow you on multiple platforms, and if it's the exact same thing, there's really no incentive. But also, there's just a different audience on those platforms. And if you look at your data analytics, you might notice that different people follow you on different platforms. Some videos perform better on different platforms. So when it comes to the social media and the analytics, there is a lot to learn. And so she's helped make it really simple by providing this AI tool. So we have access to that. I've been utilizing that. In the community, you have your introduction, like a thread. You can put your offer, get feedback. That's another thread. And then just like regular conversation, and there was another announcements, and it's heavily being utilized. I set a little timer, and then I don't stay too long. I just bounce in and out, and try to give feedback and get feedback that way. And so, working on the master class, we did that. We did that. So yeah. I think I think that's about it for the master class at the moment. If you have questions, you've never done business coaching, you're interested in how it's going, let me know. I'd love to share that with you. Like I said, this upcoming week we have some time off. And so I'll be using that to work on my masterclass, and I'll share that with you next time that I come record. So let's do some catch up. So I'm now behind, but at the time when I filmed this last week, I was talking to you about Valentine's Day and wishing you a happy Valentine's Day. I'm sure I did something I would talk to you about, but I don't remember what that was. As far as health and wellness updates, I'm so happy to say I finally made an appointment with my dentist, so I'm going to go home. I'll be home next month, and I used that time to schedule a dentist appointment. I tried to schedule my mammogram that same week. They weren't able to. The closest one I could get is June, which is when SDPA conferences. That's when the DMV Dermatology NPPA group is going to have our big summer gathering. We have a referral code. They gave us a code so we can get a percentage off the registration. And so I'll be sharing that with the group this week. So thank you to them. And I'm going to be chatting with them soon too, which is wonderful. They've been so supportive and so responsive. And so I think I'm going to use that time to schedule my eye appointment too. So I'm doing good. So I have to do the women's, so that's a couple checks. I still have to do the women's health and mental health provider. Today, I thought I almost found someone, but it didn't turn out that way. But in terms of the health update, I joined church. And so when you join a new church, at least in the Baptist faith, they usually do new members classes. And so we had our first class today. Sometimes they'll be in person, sometimes they'll be virtual, but it was 2 hours today. And they just kind of told us the history of the church and how to find things on the website, how to find things on site, and what to expect moving forward during our new members orientation. And we broke out into a little room, into little groups on Zoom, and there's quite a few people in the healthcare space and entrepreneurs, and so that was interesting to see. So it was fun. And let's see. As for the finances, originally I told you that we were going to start talking about more financial health and literacy this year. That's going to take a little bit of be postponed because of this business coaching, but I do want to share a helpful resource with you that Jade, my intern, reminded me of, which is the 1 Week Budget. It's a book by the Budgetnista. I'll have that in the description box for you. It's a book I used when I first started organizing my finances. It's something you could do it in a weekend. It took me 2 weeks when I first did it because you also have other things going on. But she takes you through a whole year of looking at all your expenses. I recommend that you get the ebook because you'll be able to see the charts that she recommends. You can get the hard copy book too. The charts that she recommends. And then I just duplicated that into a spreadsheet. At this point, I need a program to manage all my expenses personally and for the businesses. And so I'll be doing that throughout this next 8 weeks, purchasing one of those software and then utilizing that to keep everything straight and organized. Mental health updates. Even though I don't have the provider, I did want to mention a couple things that I do for my mental health. So one, when I work out, and when I walk the dog, especially in the morning, or certain times of the day when I'm doing things, and even sometimes during the middle of the week, I'll which I've been wanting to do for a long time, is put the phone on mute, just so that I can not be distracted so easily. And I let my family, I gave them an exception so they can get past the do not disturb. But it's just a tip. Sometimes, especially if you're an entrepreneur, you have a lot of ideas. You get stimulated all the time. If you have children, depending on your line of work, that overstimulation can be motivating, but it can also be a little bit draining sometimes, and certainly, distract you so you can't really finish a task as efficiently as you want. And so that's something I do. You can try it. See if it helps for you. In the evenings, I usually have a point where I stop checking messages and stuff like that, and dim the lights. That's a thing I used to do just from being a night nurse, just to help my body stay at a kind of with that circadian rhythm. And I do candles and aromatherapy, also to help settle the brain and prepare for bed. So those are just some little tips that you might find helpful. So at this time, you can go to the blog. Jade she's done her introductory article, so you can learn about her journey. and then why she applied for the internship, the Mahogany Dermatology, well, it's Mahogany Telederm 2025 internship. Next year, we'll call it the Mahogany Dermatology internship. But yeah, and we've also posted our reflection article. So I started this internship so I can get help to grow my business and also to put out more peer-reviewed research. That's like my primary thing that I told myself, what would I do if I could do anything for free? And I said I would write. And so that's where the blog came from. Working with Diversity in Dermatology started that way. And it's still my biggest passion. You have the Mahogany Dermatology shop where I have ebooks for you. I just love to write. It's my thing. And so I want help being able to put out more research and address gaps in the literature when it comes to dermatology, nursing education, and research. And she's helping me to do that. She's a beautiful writer. You can go to the blog now, read her introductory article and our first reflection article. So every month we're going to come share our experience, but also tips on it for all our nurse entrepreneur friends who want to have their own business, but need help because time and capital are limited. Sometimes you don't have the capital to hire help. And so while we need help, there's people out here who want experience and exposure, but no one will hire them without experience. And so for me, it's just a beautiful combination. And so she's on board. We met in person right before Valentine's. We had an in-person kind of Galentine's Day with another mentee of mine who's in DMP school, and then another NP out here who you'll learn more about on the podcast soon. So we went out there, made some candles, which smells wonderful. We're going to do another meetup in Houston in maybe April. April's kind of busy. April or May's kind of busy too. One of those months, but nothing in the summer. So our reflection article is up. We'll do that every month for the year. And at the end of the year, we'll release an ebook so that you guys can just take that and run with it. No decision fatigue about starting your own internship. So we hope that will be helpful for you. I created a template. So now once we've done our article, Jade will go over there, copy paste everything, make sure it's like a step-by-step, follow this kind of action plan. So it won't be as wordy as the blog. It'll be more of a how-to guide. And I just want to thank her for being so willing to participate in this public experience. We worked on our last meeting. We meet every other week. We focus on her PICO question and then how to document her literature review. So we're using the Prisma model, and in terms of her methods, you have to document everything you're doing, from your keywords to your exclusion, inclusion criteria, the databases that you use, the number of articles, the filters. And so we spent that last meeting really talking about that. So she has a strategy for how to conduct her literature review, the tools that we're using to keep track of all our references. And so she's working on her article, which is on addressing access to dermatology care, how we can utilize AI technology. And then I'm writing my article. Well, I'm still working. So I started this lit review 2 years ago, and with my life being all over the place, or not stable, it's taken a while. So then I had to start it all over again. And I finished it. And so now I'm just going through all the abstracts to make sure they meet my inclusion criteria. We're going to finish that this weekend. And then I can start writing this paper. I want us to have 2 papers out or submitted by April. That's our goal. This first quarter. After she gets her first one and under her belt, I think we'll be able to pick up the pace. We'll have at least 8 articles to the Journal of Dermatology Nurses Association by the end of the year. I'm going to be in the Focus, the member newsletter, every quarter. Actually, I'm working on my next submission right now. And then we're going to contribute some articles to the Journal of Clinical and Aesthetic Dermatology, their NPHub perspectives. That's where I'm on the editorial advisory board. And so we have some exciting articles for over there and some things we want to do, but I need to send their emails to them to get permission to see if it's possible. But if that happens, so excited about that. We'll keep you posted. Speaking of them, before I forget, we do have some updates. So, we have the DMV Dermatology MPPA group and our sister group, Derm NPs and PAs of Atlanta. Since I last recorded with you, we partnered with NPHub, who they've already been a partner with us in DMV, but now they're official partners of Atlanta. And so you can find us on their website too. So we have referral codes for our students so you can get money off when you use their website. And then for our preceptors can also get listed and get compensated for leveraging your expertise and your time when you're precepting students. So shout out to them. Shout out to Dr. Joseph DeVere for being so supportive of us from the very beginning. So we've received so much support despite being, still a baby group, but we're growing. So in addition to my platform growing, the group is growing. We had new members, a really nice rate at this point. And so we just thank you all for coming on. And so many of you have scheduled meetings with me and allowed me to hear your journey and listen to my TED Talks about, my philosophy on business and how I think you can leverage your expertise. I also completed LinkedIn's video program. I can't remember if I shared that with you all. They had invited me maybe in January or February to participate in a series of videos on how to make your videos pop. And so we completed those. The first one was how to make your videos pop, how to craft newsworthy videos, and then fireside chat with video creators. Out of all of that, I've realized I've actually been doing this a pretty good time. So there was a lot of things that weren't new. The main takeaway was to identify popular topics that are going on in mainstream news and tie whatever your content is to that. For me, and I do see some of my healthcare peers do this, even though it's unrelated, like maybe they might be an anesthesiologist and they'll talk about things going on in media. And in a lot of ways, you can talk about that. If you have the knowledge and the time, you can kind of spin anything. But for me, and what I typically talk about is usually not as related. I could find some stories that are related, but what I've done is, even though the stuff I talk about isn't in mainstream media, I have just gone to the places where that is always the main topic. Like I said, that's how we got this PDF. I went into the room where dermatology is the topic every single day, saw your question and came up with this. And now it's the content I'm making, right? You'll hear me talk about that more and more as the weeks go on. And so that's the one thing I learned from them. And it was helpful. And if it was free to participate, they have sent some emails to get feedback on how the program was. I had participated in a webinar they did in December. I think that's how I got on that notification list. And so I'm assuming, since I participated in that, this won't be the last time I hear from them. But it was wonderful. It was 1 hour. Unlike some of the other stuff, there was no replay. So you were either there or you weren't. And even though that's my main takeaway, it was very helpful. And it just made me be more conscious about social media and my content, and also learn more about LinkedIn, because each platform kind of has their own different skew. And so it was very interesting, very grateful. And then let's see, some of the things I've done since the program. I've identified my irresistible offer. So one of the homework assignments was identifying the pain points of your audience, which I shared with you. I've learned over the last few years working with so many of you, consulting and being in the room with you, trying to do the same thing. So I identified my pain points, and then identified what would be your objection to my offer. And then how am I going to address your objection? Super helpful exercise. And once you figure out how you're going to do that, it gives you so much confidence in your offer, in your presence. And even in just these couple of weeks of working on the program, there's been so many messages of confirmation that this is the right thing. Because just hearing it from people who have been doing this for a long time, where they see the tides turning when it comes to NP entrepreneurship, in terms of patient care and cash-based practices, but also from you all who have those cash-based businesses, also requesting how else can I leverage my clinical expertise. It has been so affirming. I'm on the right path. I have figured out something I can offer in my community, and I think you're going to find it valuable to help you reach your goal of making money in your sleep. And then and then we'll close out with, before I even purchased the program, I met with, so I can't remember if I told you this already, because now it's been so many meetings, but before this started, after I watched that first masterclass with Jasmine, you had the opportunity to schedule an appointment with someone who's done her program before. When I scheduled that program, I'm pretty sure I talked about that. The lady I met was Blessing, right? A Black lady right here in Texas. She did the program last year, and she asked me some really important questions that I'm going to leave with you, which is, one, which I remember my love book had asked me that when we first started dating. And it's so funny because until someone asks you something, you have to explain it. Sometimes you really haven't given it a lot of thought. And it was like, well, how much money do you want to make, right? How much money do you want your business to make? And you can say, oh, millions, but you really need to quantify that. And she also asked me, what's the goal of your business, right? And so I knew what the goal of my business was. That was easy. But when I talk to a lot of you tell me from the NP lens, oh, I want to make my patient better. I want to help them lose weight. I want to improve their skin, all these things, right? But the real goal of your business, I would argue, is to make money in your sleep. So if the goal is to make money in your sleep, that means at some point you won't be the one doing the work. And so a lot of the calls that I get three kind of calls. Should I go back and get my DNP? How do I get into dermatology and business marketing and strategy, business growth and marketing strategy? When it comes to the business strategy, you know what you want to do. I want to leave a burnt out job and go do Botox because it's a skill that I already know. I know how to use a syringe and I know how to inject it into the skin. That's a low barrier to entry. So it seems very appealing. You see social media and it looks fun. Look, the videos are very attractive. And so it's very attractive. And it's like, oh, that's a business I can do. But what's happened is you've identified a job and you created one for yourself, but there's no exit strategy, right? What's going to happen at some point? You're not going to work there. You're going to need to die. When you're going to die, you're going to need to sell it or scale it. Whatever you start is not going to be how it looks later. So if the goal is to make money in your sleep from the very beginning, that should be in your thought process. That's what we talked about last week's video, how to get that help, how to identify clients who can bring in money, big money, so you can hire the help, not just one person who's going to pay 500 and one person who's going to pay 600. What about a contract that brings you in enough money per month to get the help that you need? So I forgot. Oh, so the goal of the business is to make money in your sleep. If you keep that in mind, every time you make a decision, every time you try to bring in something new to your business, I think you'll be headed in the right direction. Anyway, she asked me that question. I'm going to leave that with you. And how much money do you want to make? And I was talking to one of you yesterday. Shout out to you. And what was I going to say? I was like, what is it? She said she wanted her business to blossom. And I said, well, for everyone, blossom looks different. If you're a mom, if you're married and mom with 2 kids, an idea for you of blossoming might be making $10,000 a month because you want your kid to go to a nice school. You want to be able to go to a nice vacation every summer. That might be all you want. You want to keep your full-time job and just have something on the side. For you, that's blossoming. That's the goal. For someone else, they might want 10 locations. To them, that's blossoming. Those 2 people are going to have a totally different strategy. Someone else might want to eventually franchise their business. Again, a totally different strategy. Someone else might say, I don't want multiple locations. I want one location that does multiple things. That's a different strategy altogether. And it's not like one's better than the other. You just need to know what your goal is and to get in people in the room who've done it so you can learn from them, identify their pain points, the solutions, and take from it what you will to help you get where you're trying to go. So let me know in the comments, what's your biggest challenge when it's come to launching or growing your business? Let me know. And if you want that new free PDF guide, you can email me either through the blog or directly. The blog is the best place. And I'd be happy to send it to you. Thank you so much for watching. And remember, you can still register. What's today? February 22nd. We're almost 1 month out from the Diversity in Dermatology Conference. We'll be right there in Louisville, Kentucky from the 27th through the 30th at the Marriott downtown. You're welcome to join us over at the DMV Dermatology NPPA group or Derm NPs and PAs of Atlanta. Just make sure you answer all the questions. We're on Facebook and Instagram. Shout out to Allie, Caleb, and Derek, my advisors who helped me. And check out the blog. We'll release a new article this Monday. I'm going to finish that 3-part series that I started on skin of color and aesthetics. We're going to close out talking about the Fitzpatrick skin typing system and what we mean by skin typing and what's wrong with that typing system and what are other options when it comes to evaluating how the skin is going to react. I think that's all I have. I thank you all for watching. I'm so glad we were able to squeeze this in. And if you're lucky enough to catch the live, wonderful. Everyone else is going to have to wait till after midnight. See you all next time.